You know, whenever we have a great musician on the show and we have some extra time, I always like to explore music history and things like that. So, Paul, growing up as a kid, who were some of the musicians that you would say, you know, growing up as a kid, as a teenager, some of the musicians that really influenced you the most?
Well, my musical influences are life. We're in Long Beach, right? My musical influences are nature, you know, because that's where the divinity comes through nature. And you know, all music, there's, like Duke Ellington said, there's two kinds of music: good music and bad music. And if it's inspired, it's good. So you can get your inspiration from anywhere. So the individual inspirations really are less significant than the inspiration of just life. Because as a musician, the greatest art is when you let the divine come through you. And it doesn't come from you, it comes through you. And a matter of fact, in life, we're all artists. If we live our life that way, if we let the spirit kind of guide our lives in the direction where it wants to take us, we have a happy life, we have an in-tune life, and we have a joyous artistic life.
All right. I can tell you're very spiritual, and that plays in part of your music.
That is the music. There's no separation between me, the music, and the spirituality. And this band does a great job of enhancing that, because the band plays together as one unit. It's four individuals, but there's one voice, because everyone is so in tune and intuitive, and that's why I play with them. And it's a joy to play with this band. Are they still around? There's my drummer over there, Mike. He's amazing. And Edgar Mills. Edgar, you around? Because Edgar Mills, I mean, he's psychic too. I mean, they're the greatest rhythm section. They only put in what's necessary. And Susan Mitchell on the violin, she's got the great ear. She's got that melodic contrast. We got the whole thing working. There she is. There she
now,
is.
you say you're very spiritual, and you.
No, you said it.
You agree, but I can tell you're into that, and you believe in like psychics and getting in touch with the past and all that stuff.
Well, right now we're getting in touch with the past. We did classical jazz. That's getting in touch with the past. And as far as psychic is, yes, it's what we do is when we open up to the divine. It's not a question of reading someone's fortune. It's not a question of seeing the future. It's a question of experiencing the now. That's what psychic is, okay? Letting the now come in through you, letting the universe flow through you, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, because we had a psychic on the show from Oceanside a few weeks ago, and I was thinking the perfect person to do a reading would be you, Paul. I could see you with a psychic. I think we could arrange it. I agree.
I've never been to a psychic before.
So are you game? Are you down?
I mean, I'll be down for the show if you want me to come in here and do it. But, you know, in general, I would not go to a psychic, you know, because...
all right, it's honest.
Because, you know, through the music, we are all psychic. We channel our own psychic ability, you know. That's what we need. It's not so important what a psychic says. It's our life that's important, you know.
All right. What do you think if I put Paul on the spot? You want to...
You already did put me on the spot.
No, I'm really putting you on the spot. I'm going to name a musician, and I want your first reaction that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Let's go for... You mentioned about stuff like that. Harry Chapin.
Good stuff. One of my sister's favorites. What can I say? My sister's a voice teacher at Queens College. She knows Alfred. You know, he's trained there. You know, so it's a great connection.
You mentioned jazz. Louis Armstrong.
Satchmo. You know, good stuff. You know, you can't say anything wrong about it.
All right. The Legend of Long Island. Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, I mean, it's okay. I'm not a big, I'm not a big Billy Joel fan. I'm into the classics, really. I like, you know, J.S. Bach, you know, Mozart, Chopin, and you know, in the classic jazz, John Coltrane, Miles Davis. You know, classic is classic. You know, good is good, and you know, I just like, there it is. As you know, I like the artists that really can explore and this artistic styles that that are conducive to exploring the depth of human experience. And so that's what we try to do in our music, and that's what I try to do in my classical music too.
And I noticed a lot of from doing the show, a lot of musicians I have had the honor of meeting and working with. They truly like making a difference. Talk about your philosophy of doing fundraisers for good causes, where you can lend your music for a really good cause.
Okay, on May 31st, a great concert in New York. The only New York concert I know, a concert for Nepal. We're doing this to benefit the people in Nepal after their earthquake. So there's going to be an orchestra concert on May 31st in Flushing. You can find out about it on www.pauljoseph.com. It's going to be at Mary's Nativity Church in Flushing. It's a beautiful space. The Queensborough Symphony Orchestra is going to perform there, and I'm contributing a prelude where I'm actually going to do an arrangement of the Nepali national anthem, and it's going to be very orchestral, very haunting. And I think it's going to be a nice touch to the program. Also, Tchaikovsky's on the program, Mozart, you can't go wrong. And that's one example of what what we're trying to do. But ultimately, the best thing I think an artist can do is to do art. Because when you bring art into the world, you change people's lives. And when you change people's lives, they're going to make the world a better place. They bring light into the world. And that's ultimately, we could raise money, that's a one-time thing. But we have to live it day to day. And an artist's journey is living his existence day to day. And that's why I'm blessed to be a musician. That's why I'm blessed to play with this great band. And that's why I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to have my orchestral music performed.
Absolutely. Like, one example that comes to mind, we all know about the, what happened in Baltimore, and it got so extreme that they had to have an empty stadium. And, one of the things they were talking about is
Baltimore Symphony.
Yeah, is that they were playing, and it was so soothing for the people. And they said how music makes such a big difference. Let's expand on that a little bit, because I thought it was fascinating.
Music makes a tremendous difference. And it's not so much music itself, it's art. And music, I think, is the most powerful of the arts, but I'm biased, I'm a musician. But art itself, because art is expression, and we're all, like I said, we're all artists. We're always constantly expressing. We're constantly expressing, creating. That's what an artist does. That's what we all do in our lives. So when we embrace that, we're embracing who we are. And if we embrace who we are, we get to know ourselves. And if we know ourselves, we become happy. And if we become happy, there's no conflict in us. And if there's no conflict within us, there's no conflict in the world. And that's why the best thing you can do is explore the arts.
All right. Wow, that was awesome. On that note, I'm really glad that, we had this little segment at the end with Paul, because it really, sometimes you really find out about someone. So we knew he was a great musician, but it was really interesting to tap into his soul and find out what he's all about. All right.
Thank you, Howie. Thank you for the opportunity. We had a great time.
All right. First of all, let's thank Barbara for the Long Beach Historical Society. And Long Beachers, if you have not checked out the Long Beach Historical Society, it's the hidden treasure of Long Beach. I always felt by doing a show about Long Beach, you can't do a show without tapping into the history. And here you have information dating all the way back to the late 1800s, the early 1900s. There's tremendous history, and the Long Beach Historical Society has great events throughout the year. They have a big arts and crafts festival on the boardwalk in August, which is their big event. So it's really great. So come to the Long Beach Historical Society, support them through the year, and get a great piece of Long Beach history. This has really been a special show. I love music, and I think we've been blessed. Let's give it up for the Paul
Joseph Quartet.
There you go. Paul Joseph Quartet. They were awesome. And how about our two vocalists, Sarah Murphy and Alfred Mendez. All right. And with that, we got to wrap it up. And again, make sure this show will be on Facebook, Halftime Howie Radio Show. The video will be up in a couple hours. And the entire broadcast will be rebroadcast next Sunday night from 7 to 8 p.m. on AM 1240 WGBB. So you can listen to the whole show next Sunday night, 7 o'clock on Mother's Day. And let me wrap with this. My name is Halftime. I want to thank you for your time. Please join us next Sunday for an edition of Halftime. But at this time, we are out of time. See you next Sunday!
Sadly, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wait. We got to start over again. We have a new sponsor. I want to pump them up. Iggy's. I-G-G. Let's start over again. Iggy's. I-D-G-Y. S. Start again.